Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of SmallEngineVelocity, and today we are going to talk about the finalization of fixing the orange Ruckus again. If you've watched in the previous video, which I'll put right here, I had a broken mount on my Ruckus. The bolt that holds the clasp on top of the frame, it snapped. Here's a little tidbit. The bolt snapped, and I guess when it snapped, it loosened the threads on the other one and eventually fell off. For a little while there, I was a little bit confused as to how I'm gonna get this fixed, but thank you, Dorby, for responding to my email and offering to send me another piece to replace the one that broke. But he also sent me kind of the specifications, so I was able to find one and just go ahead and buy it and have it shipped here quicker than what was going to happen if Dorby sent it himself. But before we begin, let's go ahead and roll the intro. Okay, so here's the part that I needed. For a long time, I was trying to find it myself. I was looking for C-clamp, I was looking for bracket, I was looking for all sorts of stuff, and thanks to Dorby, he told me it was called a collar, and put it in my Amazon cart, and I got it in a couple of days. Now, the main problem isn't the collar itself. The collar broke off and it fell, but the problem is that the bolt inside of it snapped inside of the lower half of the mount, which I thought was gonna be incredibly difficult to take out. So I went ahead and took off the other half of the collar on the other side and compared it to the one that I had purchased. As far as I'm concerned, this is the exact one that he used to have this mount built, or whoever built it for him if he didn't build it himself, which I wouldn't be surprised if he did build them himself. The only difference between the kit that I have and the bolt that is broke in the actual mount is the one in the mount is silver. The one that came with the kit was some kind of black or oxidized, or I forget what they call it when they black an object out. I know it's not anodizing, but anyways, that's the only difference that I could tell. So to begin my journey, the first thing I need to do is go ahead and take off the rear shock. There's two bolts holding the shock on the top part, one through the top and one below it for a brace, and then of course the one on the bottom of the bike that holds it together from there. Then you can easily remove the shock. The next thing I needed to do was go ahead and just take the whole mount out. Fortunately for me, when you have to take the hanger bolt off, and I was able to get the whole hanger bolt off. You'll notice when you pull the hanger bolt off all the way, the motor didn't just drop to the ground. I had the foresight to go ahead and put something underneath it so that it didn't fall apart. The reason being is because I have done that before. I have taken the hanger bolt off and the motor just boom on the bottom of the ground. I did remember to also take the stabilizer bar that goes up to the front of the bike. You can't take it out unless you do that, and then you're able to pull the whole mount out. Now, from this particular point of view, you can see the problem I had with the bolt. It snapped pretty far inside of there. I thought I was going to go ahead and use an extractor, but then I realized that the threads go all the way through down to the bottom. What I did was I put a drill bit in and I drilled into the bolt, and at some point in time the bolt got, you know, the drill bit got stuck inside of there, and I was able to twist it down through, trying to push it all the way through. The problem I had there was that there's powder coat on the bottom threads, so it didn't want to move very well. So what I did was I got a chisel and I would make notches in it and just hammer it and force it to turn over and over again until finally it came all the way out. And I did some comparing, and everything works great. Threads, everything. I'm just gonna use all the bolts from the new one and reuse the ones on the other side. Eventually I'm gonna change those bolts to see if I could find anything a little bit tougher on there, because those seem to hold a lot of stress for the frame. So of course, once I got it all out and I managed to make sure everything worked, I went ahead and put a lot of effort into putting it back together again, put the hanger bolt through and put the connecting stabilizer off to the front. And then once I was done, I got to the point where I was going to try to connect the suspension in, and I forgot the stabilizer bar that goes through the hanger bolt on the bottom. You can't just do it all. How do I say this? It's a piece where I have to literally do that first and then do everything. If you don't do it first, you're gonna have to reverse everything out, put the motor back down, and then put it through the hanger bolt on there. My bad. So I went ahead, took it all back apart. I got some help this time from my daughter's boyfriend, Aiden. He helped me hold the motor up and put the bolts in and helped me put the suspension back together and all sorts of stuff. It was a lot easier. I'm glad that I had some assistance this time when it came to putting it back together. Once it was all together, it looked great. I was happy that I got it back in one piece again, that the rear wheel isn't wonky and looks weird. Now, if I was riding around, I'm pretty sure people wouldn't have noticed that the rear wheel was crooked, but at some point in time, the other bolt on the other side would have broke, and then everyone would notice that my motor was not connected to the bike. It would have been terrible if it actually had, I had not seen this and it broke earlier. So, goes to say, with custom bikes, especially one with so many custom pieces and aftermarket and parts, you know, that you buy off the internet, you know, you want to review all this stuff every once in a while, make sure it all stays together. So let's go ahead and take a ride on the fixed Honda Ruckus. Let's see if it rides any different, if it rides any better, or if it rides the same as it did before. Anyways, let's get that helmet on and take a ride.
Well, here we are, back on the Honda Ruckus. The bracket is fixed. Everything seems to be good. I do notice that it does ride a little bit more solid than it did before, but that makes sense. If you can see the back wheel right now from the rear camera, you should be able to see that it is straight again. I made 100% sure that that tire is straight again. And now I'm working again. So right now I'm just going to ride around for a little bit, break it in, make sure everything fits well. Nothing vibrates off. Of course, riding it to check to see if anything vibrates off is not really a good solution for anything, right? But yeah, there we go. I am excited that I can ride this thing again. It has been a very long time since I have been able to, or at least it feels like it has been a very long time. Now it's time to make sure it's nice and clean, get it ready for some shows and stuff over the spring time, whenever it starts to get a little bit warmer again and we can have a bunch of bikes meet up. I'm planning on trying to do a meetup like I was supposed to do during the pandemic, but never got around to doing it. So here we go. And then also get some time to work on the new Facebook Marketplace Ruckus. The Facebook Marketplace Ruckus officially is now in ownership of SmallEngineVelocity, and SmallEngineVelocity is going to decide what going forward how this bike will turn out in the end. I'm pretty sure it's going to stay 49cc. But anyways, thanks for watching, and thank you Dorby Works for pointing me in the again and helping me out with that missing collar, not C-clamp or bracket. Anyways, thanks. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see everybody in the next video.